So today, say Saturday, and it's 5:45 in the morning. They've closed off Central Park West for parking. The Albanian parade is today. What connection that has with the Upper West Side, I really don't know. Also, it's a little windy out, so hopefully that'll die down. I think it's supposed to get really windy this afternoon, maybe later this morning, this afternoon. So the Albanian parade, that's part one. Part two is, let me see if it's elevated down here. They are filming, looks like a pretty substantial piece, what we believe to be the morning show in season 5, or at least this is shooting for season 5. That is the show I have not seen. As much as my interest in news, I think I would want to see that. I haven't seen it yet. We'll figure that out at some point. See if that's any good. But what they'll do ahead of time is they'll post notes that you can't park on certain areas, on certain dates, on certain times. And then we live on one of those side streets, and though we don't have a car, we still have to walk back and forth to the shops, restaurants, whatever it might be, the market. And they do their best to block off those side streets when they're filming. As a semi barely amateur videographer, I completely understand getting everything set up. I don't even use talent, getting the talent ready, and then all of a sudden, some doofus with a Christie's bag is walking up the street. It's probably not the greatest. However, I live here and I need to get home. There's always like that tricky balance of, if you have an individual, you have a New Yorker who just needs to get home, they've got to stop the shooting. And then you get scowls from all the people. Like last time they were filming on our street, and I was coming back from the market or a morning walk. I can't remember, but I was heading up, and there was usually a guy or girl, a person standing at the end of the streets with a sign that says filming in progress. You know, more or less, can you not walk through here? So he stopped me and said, I can't walk up here because they're filming. I said, I live up here. He explained that they're filming. So I just asked if I could walk up the street on the other side of the street. And then once I get past all the filming, then I can cut over. Right, problem solved. But we were talking yesterday, we used to live on a street that a little further uptown that had a lot of filming. It's just a lot of activity. And one time it was the show Damages. Which I didn't watch, but I recognized some of the actors. And kind of the joke with New York is that when you see a rat, you think of, oh, cool, nature. versus ooh, a rat. So we were walking up back home, and we were leaving. I think we were walking home, and there was a raccoon. And so you have all these famous people and famous, right, uh, show, I guess, and everybody's focused on the raccoon. Kind of funny. I wonder if I can get a shot of this. So they have all the tow trucks. There's one, two, there's probably like 10 or 12 tow trucks lined up on the street. And then I think they just turn them loose at a certain time. They go pick up all the cars that shouldn't be parked there because the Albanians are coming for the parade. I mentioned it's a nice day out. I think that feels like a 60. There's a little humidity in the air. Yeah, quite nice stuff. I'm gonna walk down to the Hudson River today. There's a nice little path that goes up that way. So I posted my first, live session show recording yesterday. And then I think in the body of it, I had made the comment that I always wanted my own radio show. I really like audio. I think there's a multimedia experience to it that can be added. However, I'm the kid that grew up listening to the radio. I used to follow hockey quite a bit when we lived in San Jose. We were there when the Sharks came, so that was like a really big thing. And I remember listening to the Shark games on the radio, which if you've ever tried to listen to a hockey game, even watch a hockey game, but someone call a hockey game, it's very fast paced. Think about doing that on the radio where you've got to paint that picture with your words. So Dan Ruzanowski and Drew Remenda were the play-by-play and color commentator. They're good. I also liked Gene Burns on the Thanksgiving Day show. I just like that kind of call and response type of environment. So anyway, so that's what I wanted to see if I could create here. Then I would come home after the walk and not do any polishing to the video, or sorry, the audio. But if I'm taking video along the way, sometimes I have a camera attached to me. I'll upload that too, so there'll be a little bit more context. I'll have my photos that I take on the walk. I'm usually bringing a camera today. I'm bringing a digital camera with a longer lens. And post some of those photos up there too. And then because I have this on Substack, I can look and follow the comments as they come in. You know, I'm hoping that there's like a single topic we can go through. Maybe on the weekend it's a little more loosey goosey, and then maybe in the weekdays it's more topical, business, technical, marketing, all that stuff. I am usually out the door after 5, especially these days when, like, realistically, the first light is probably like 5:10. Yeah, and then as I'm walking, I can pick up the comments as they come in, maybe a little back and forth there. And then on the weekend, it can just be a little bit more like, yeah, loosey goosey on what's going on. I think I've taken 2 pictures so far. I'm just now entering Riverside Park, which is on the edge of the west side. And then just trying to see how I can sneak in. I think I messed up. I think it'd be easy just to aim towards a big body of water. So, There used to be a little, it's called the Boat Basin Cafe. I think it was on 77th on the west side, like right up against the Hudson. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think they've been working on it for the last couple of years, like renovating it and stuff. Why did I come out to the Hudson this morning? I figured with the Albanian Day Parade, a lot of the routes would be cut off. Plus, I just went through the park yesterday, Central Park yesterday. Like because a lot of the boats will be coming through. It's kind of fun, and it's fairly quiet. The Hudson, or the you can basically take up and down the west side of Manhattan. Hopefully that wind will die down here. Now they're entering a pedestrian tunnel. I imagine it's going to get a little louder as we are a little windier as we get closer to the water. Okay, so I'll start these at 5:30, give or take, depending on life. And then I think I'll run them for half an hour. Today started a little bit late, so I think I got another 10 minutes for this one. I have not set the alerts to start yet. Start doing that here shortly. Once I get like a week's worth of recordings, and I'm pretty happy with the recordings. This is day 2, and it's the second microphone I'm using. And also, I forget, like with the the setup. Um, yeah, yesterday I had a one kind of mic system. Then today I have a different setup. So we'll see how these two compare. I got to figure out the just one click setup, record and go. I think one of the challenges of the audio is the system always wants to grab the audio. And I don't necessarily want the audio to go through the system. So I'll figure that out. That's got to be an Apple shortcut to build. But I also like this because I'm doing it all through Substack. So I'm not using my storage on my phone. Okay, we're going to walk out to the pier. No idea what this pier is called, but it's north of the Nimitz. Very north of the Nimitz. You should get a couple of nice little shots from here. You see the water is pretty choppy, and the leaves and the trees are moving around a little bit. There's a picture of the George Washington Bridge. The wind and the long lens doesn't make it easy. Make for an easy, steady shot. I do have a film camera that I'll bring along every now and then. The challenge with the film camera is that I typically want to spend some time taking every photo, which means that I'll probably bring a tripod and a little cable release thing. Whereas this, I wouldn't call it running and gunning, but I have a color profile set up on the digital camera. Which makes it just a little easier and faster to shoot on. I've come to this conclusion, at least for me, that I don't mind editing the digital photos. I bring them into the photo app on the Mac or iPad, iPhone, and then I do a quick cleanup and add some vibrancy. I'd say probably 99% of my photos, it's probably, yeah, that. Okay. Whereas the analog, the film one, I don't do that. I take it and the editing is in photo, more or less. Ooh, I thought it'd be windier out on the pier, but at least not yet. Yeah, so it'll probably be like 70, 80 degrees today. Be a nice day. As far as the World Cup goes, it was great to see on a Friday the place down on Wall Street that was wall to wall packed. Yeah, for a 3 o'clock game, that's pretty good. And more or less people were into it. It was a bit of a drudgery game. I don't know if me personally, if I would have started at the beginning of the World Cup, if I would have thought after 2 games we'd have a 5 goal differential on the positive side, I think I'd be pretty pleased with that. And and number 10 wasn't even playing yesterday. And he probably won't even be playing on whenever the next game is on Friday. My guess is that, last game was with Turkey IE. So I think they'll probably just rest Christian because that photo's kind of backlit, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to go through the group stage undefeated. It'd also be nice to go through the group stage having our number 10 healthy. So my guess is he won't start. US already clinched first place. So now we get to play the game of which third place team do we play, depending on where we end up. It might even be Bosnia, particularly. Yeah, that's 5 minutes left. I think what we'll do, we'll get to the end of the pier here. I think there's a big old cruise ship that's docked down on Pier 57. Pretty quiet on the Hudson this morning. Maybe during the weekdays it's a little bit. Yeah, I think from the end of the pier, looking back at the city, you've got the old Trump buildings, which are dated. And you start moving south, you start seeing some of these new glass high rises. So these are what, 2, 4, 6, 10, maybe 30 stories high. So maybe mid range. And then there's a little gap, probably like in the, so what is that, like 50s and 40s? Then you get to Hudson Yards and it's an explosion of brand new glass skyscrapers. And then you look up the river, just a beautiful shot of the George Washington Bridge. There's usually some big cargo ships, sailboats, kind of going up the Hudson, up and down the Hudson. Yeah, I just don't see any today. So we can